Hello everyone, this is Heather and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to make the envelopes that I've been using for my pocket letters. If you haven't seen my pocket letters before, I will link the playlist below. And if you don't know what a pocket letter is, I will link the website below as well in the description. Basically it is a pen pal type letter that includes a bunch of scrapbooking supplies, so they're really fun to make. Anyway, the envelopes that I've been making, I've had some questions about them, so I'm going to show you how to create one. So basically I take a sheet of 12 by 12 paper. You can use double-sided or non, it doesn't matter. I prefer single-sided, and this is a sheet from the Die Cuts with a View Mariposa stack, which is quite old, but I still like the patterns. So the other things you'll need is a roll of double-sided tape, or some kind of adhesive anyways, a paper trimmer, and a scoring tool. I just like to use a dead ballpoint pen since I lost my bone folder, but a bone folder works as well. So what you do first is decide which way you want the paper oriented. Now this way I think I want the butterflies facing up, so you can see them here. So I'm going to flip my paper over with my up facing that way. And on here I'm going to score 4 inches. Actually, sorry, first we'll do 3 inches from the right hand side of the paper when it is face down. And if you want to use a ballpoint pen, this one's dead, you just line it up here. And I should have moved the cutter out of the way so it can go to the bottom. And you can see it, my pen is still using a bit of ink on there, but it won't matter, that won't show. Okay, now we flip it over and we're gonna score 4 inches from the other side. So if you have a 12-inch sheet of paper and you score 3 and 4 inches from each side, you'll have 5 inches in the middle. So that's the width of your envelope. So you can adjust this accordingly if you want a slightly larger or smaller envelope. Now, just to remind myself, this is the top. So from the top, I want to score 1.5 inches. So I'm using the grid on this side now and scoring that. And then from the bottom, I want to score 1 inch. So that is going to give me an envelope that is 9.5 inches tall. So this is what it looks like now. We're done with the trimmer for now. And we are just going to use this same pen as a bone folder. So you're gonna fold over all those score lines you made with the pattern that you want facing out. And I'm just using the pen, the end of it, to really make a nice crease. Then fold up from the bottom. And down from the top. Okay, so we've got our envelope starting to take form. One thing I did forget to mention is you will also need scissors. So the way that I create my envelopes is I actually cut on a bit of an angle from these corners. So you want to cut all of the corners out. And the reason I cut on an angle, you can see I leave about 1/4 inch and cut diagonally to the corner. The reason I do that is because I want my envelope to have this nice finished top, and I want the top flap to have that nice diagonal edge as well. So the longer cuts are a little bit harder to do straight, and if you can't eyeball this, you can certainly use a ruler and a knife, or even your trimmer as well. But it's pretty easy to eyeball, and it doesn't have to be quite perfect anyways. So that is what the top is going to look like. And sometimes I will cut straight down to here, so I think I will do that. I like the edge of this paper to line up with this corner, so I'm just going to put a little dot right there. And then, using my scissors again, I'm going to cut diagonally, make sure I'm hitting, going through that dot, but also lining up with that corner. So now, my pages line up, and I'm fine with it being off center, because if you look at a coin envelope, that's how they are too. I wonder if I have one handy. This is a coin pocket mini album that I made, but you can see this isn't centered, and it lines up, I guess, kind of centered, but you can kind of customize it however you like. So this is the way I usually like to do it. Okay, and now for the bottom ones, we're just going to do the exact same thing. And the bottom angles don't matter as much because these two cuts that I just did won't show. These cuts will show on the flap. So you do want those to be equal. All right. So now we are ready to glue the envelope together because we have completed that part. So I will just show you what I like to do is add some adhesive to the edge of this flap, as well as to this edge of the smaller flap, because when they overlap, then I'll have adhesive on this very edge and the inside edge as well. And then I just add it to the bottom flap as well. So I'll just close that up and show you what it looks like. So that was super easy. Our envelope is now done. You can see that I've got my butterflies facing up the way I had hoped, and when you're ready to mail this, I suggest using some more strong adhesive on the top flap, or what I often do is just secure it lightly with washi tape, and then I use clear packing tape around here just to make sure the envelope is super secure. And I also put clear packing tape on the bottom as well. Because I typically address my envelopes on some white paper and then adhere that on, I put the packing tape over top of that as well. If you were writing it directly on here, you may want to use packing tape to make it waterproof, if that's something you're worried about. If it's going a long distance or something, then that's something I like to do. But those are just my tips for how to make your own pocket letter envelope. And you can see, I'll show you here, this is a pocket letter. It's the empty one, of course, but it just folds into 3 and it fits perfectly in there with some extra room on the sides in case you want to wrap it in tissue or use ribbons or anything dimensional on it. So that's really awesome, and you can do this same thing in any size. So if you wanted to try this with 6x6 paper, you could certainly do that and just cut the measurements I gave you in half, divide them in half, and use a 6x6 paper. Or you could create your own dimensions and make it any kind of shape you want. So that's just how I make my envelopes, and I hope you enjoyed. If you want to check me out on social media, I'm on Pinterest and Instagram as well. I'm StayBeautiful84 on both of those. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.